All right, guys, let's face it. Outdoor gear can get really expensive really quick. But today, I'm gonna show you that you don't have to spend a fortune to get yourself a capable, reliable, and just fun to use bushcraft knife. Regardless if you're new to the outdoors and this would be the first blade you've ever really owned, or you're a hardened outdoorsman who spent more nights under the stars than you can count, I believe this list of 5 knives under 50 bucks has some incredible offerings that bring a lot of value and performance. And in this list, I have some amazing hidden gems, a few tried and true classics, and only one Mora, proving that you don't have to break the bank to get work done and enjoy it around camp. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Aaron. This is Gideonstactical. Buckle up and let's have some fun. Now let's kick things off with the lesser known Brisa Hiker 95. This was recommended to me a few years back by you guys, and I've been thoroughly impressed since having put it through its paces. Now what sets this apart from many others is that it has an aggressive clip point or swedge design on the Scandi grind, which is pretty unusual. Let's be real, a lot of bushcraft knives can be pretty dull and boring. They're very capable, but they don't look good doing it. This has a very stealthy, aggressive profile to it, and if that's not your thing, they also have a non-clipped, full flat grind version as well. That in tandem with a leather sheath that includes 2 different belt attachments, including a leather dangler, really sets it apart because a lot of blades in this pricing and size range tend to have polymer sheaths. So those things combined really bring a lot to the table. Now, just like everything, nothing is perfect. And if you were to ask me what the issues are in this design, it would have to be first and foremost that here in the States, the inventory can be spotty. It's kind of hard to get your hands on it, and when you can, they're usually pushing $60. Now, I have found a few places that have them for about $45, just under our $50 cap, and I'll link those in the description box below, along with all the blades we're talking about today, so you can go check those out if you want to at any point in time. But at $45, the second issue is that this is the most expensive model that we're looking at today. So when we run in some of these other models, it starts to kind of fall off a little bit and go, I don't know. So unless the clip really makes sense to you, you may find that the cost is a little too high for what you get, but it is a really unique and very capable sub $50 bushcraft knife. Leave a comment below on what you guys think about this Brisa Hiker 95 and which grind choice is your preference. And at any point in time, if I'm talking about a particular blade you're familiar with, I have chapters in the timeline below that you can skip ahead and check out the next blade. Now, number 2 on the list has massive capability because it's the largest of our bunch. At just under 5 inches of overall blade length, the Odenwolf W Series really has a lot going for it. I bought it on a whim last year, and when I got it, I was so impressed, I decided to pack it in on a multi-day backpacking trip to Wyoming as one of our dedicated camp knives, and we were blown away. It is very tough. We batoned with it, slammed it through wood and knotted pine, side split, hack, but it still kept that beautiful Scandi edge to be able to do the fine carving, feather sticks, notching, when we needed it to. And it's only an 1/8 of an inch thick with D2 steel, rock weld at 60 with a 90-degree spine, and it really did impress with its durability. I'll actually link that full review because it was wild. You can get this also in a full flat grind version if you prefer. It has a full tang construction all the way through with a rubberized overmolded handle, and it will have the best polymer sheath of our lot today, because not only is it ambidextrous with a nice webbing attachment, you can do Bladehq locks, and it seats very nicely into place with minimal rattle, excellent tension, and just brings a lot that a lot of these other blades, when it comes to the sheath, won't offer. Now, for 35 bucks, that's really impressive. If there was an issue, it is with that back exposed tang. It is on the top. I have large size hands. I don't contact with it when I'm using it for carving, but when you do hacking, you definitely get a little bit of shock in the hand. So that's something just to kind of consider. But leave a comment below. What do you think about the Odenwolf W, especially if you own one, how has it been performing for you? Now next up, I have a 2-for-1 proving that you don't always need a fixed blade to have a good bushcraft knife. But before we get to that, I want to invite you to like, subscribe, and make sure to hit the bell icon so you can be notified every week when I put up new videos just like this. I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, which is ZOLEO and their satellite communicators. For years now, I've been trusting my ZOLEO on all of my outdoor adventures because of its standalone capability. The fact that it has up to 200 hours of continuous runtime and that it communicates with the Iridium satellite network so that at a moment's notice, I can hit the SOS button, sending my GPS coordinates to first responders. I can even communicate with them through Bluetooth link on my phone to let them know what type of injuries and problems that I may have and getting the rescue or help that I may need. That, along with the ability to be able to communicate to my wife and loved ones to let them know how I'm doing and if I need to hear from them, if something has changed at home and I need to cut my trip short, it allows me to communicate in a way that I can't always trust a smartphone to provide when there's no cell phone coverage. And ultimately, it gives myself and my loved ones peace of mind knowing that when something unexpected happens, I will be able to communicate and get the help I need. So I will have a link popping up here as well as in the description box below over to the ZOLEO site where you can start exploring all the different features, capabilities, subscription plans that easily fit in any budget so you can really dial in what you need. And I'll also include my exclusive promo code which will waive the activation fee so that you can stay connected on all of your adventures. Now the word outrageous and cold steel tend to go hand in hand, regardless if it's their massive pocket knives that are heavy duty overbuilt, or it's their swords or tactical blades that they focus on. That's their usual MO. So when they released the Finn series of blades in not only the Finn Wolf pocket knife with a 0-degree Scandi grind, but also their Finn Hawk fixed blade under the same moniker, I was blown away. These are excellent, high-value bushcraft knives. First and foremost, let's look at that fixed blade. Now, what I like about it is, again, that 0-degree edge. So, I mean, it is gonna pop hairs, it is gonna carve and be a beautiful finessed blade. And unlike some of the others, it's also gonna have a 90-degree spine, which is excellent. I really like the kind of puko sweep up design and the ergonomics. They really executed well with a deep guard and some really nice traction. And ultimately, I would argue this is probably my favorite knife for ergonomics of our entire list today. It's just so comfortable, really grippy, and gives me the traction I want for heavier tasks, but also easily can carve with. On the flip side, what I really like about the Finn Wolf is that it gives us that same profile, right about 3.5 inches, has a 90-degree spine as well. It's one of the few Scandi pocket knives that are out there. It's pretty hard to find. It has the triad lock, so you can pound on it if you have to. Not recommended, but you can side split. I batoned with them. Hold up great. It's ambidextrous, and you could potentially have a hatchet or maybe a big survival knife, machete, and just carry this in your pocket for all your fine detailed cutting and really get a lot of bushcraft tasks done. And both of these blades come in right around like 30 bucks. The fixed blade's usually a little under that, and the folder's usually a little bit more. So excellent value. Now, with that said, obviously nothing's perfect. On the fixed blade front, the sheath. Now the sheath is very similar to a lot of other, knives in the size range. Polymer, it has a belt clip, all that, but the tension is insane and there's no thumb ramp. So you've got to fight to get it out, pulling your pants up and your belt off almost when it's riding on your belt, and it's kind of a nightmare. I hope Cold Steel long-term puts a thumb ramp or something on there. The knife itself, awesome. This is the Achilles heel of the design. With that said, thankfully, as long as you can find an aftermarket leather sheath that fits most Moras, especially like their 511, it will fit this knife because of its guard right there. So this happens to be a hide and drink leather, one that I just snagged off of Amazon for like 18 bucks. Works great, much more functional, a lot better. Now, the downside to that is that makes this knife like $45 if you upgrade the leather sheath. But I think that the design itself lends itself to be okay to have to upgrade the sheath. Like, I'm willing to pay that extra money because of what I get out of the design. On the flip side, the folder, the real only drawback is the thumb studs. Because they are in line with that grind, it can be kind of tricky to maintain that 0-degree edge, bumping into the thumb studs sometimes. Now you can unscrew them and back them out, or I've learned to kind of like work around it, but it can be a little tricky. You really have to work on and finesse and possibly back out the thumb studs. Not the end of the world, and like I said, I worked around it, but that is something to note. But both of these blades are excellent and a double whammy, so we kind of have 6 on this list, but depending on what your preference is. And leave a comment. Do you use the Finn Wolf and like having a pocket knife with a Scandi, or is it better just to stay with the fixed blade version and its extra durability? Now, next up is our most rustic and arguably naturally built blades, and it is the BPS Bushmate 2.0, designed by fellow YouTubers over at the Dutch Bushcraft Knife channel. Those guys are awesome. I highly recommend, if you're into blades, go check them out. If you're not already subscribed, you should be. They're entertaining and they know their stuff, and they designed this blade. And it just has this really durable, rustic, old world feel to it, because we have an uncoated carbon steel, full 10 construction with wood handle scales that are bolted on, and it has the best leather sheath of our list. Very dense leather. We have dangler. It comes with a fire steel for extra value there, and it's just a really nice piece. So it feels very rustic and kind of, a little bit more premium, arguably, than plastic and rubber over molds, which work really well, but there's just this kind of cool factor to the design. Scandi grind works excellent. It's going to carve. It's going to bite in. It's durable because they use 1066 steel. You're going to have to resharpen it regularly. So maintenance is going to be key with this blade, and is going to require, out of all of our knives, the most attention and maintenance. Meaning that 1066 can tend to get patinas and rust, so you want to keep it well oiled and maintained, particularly in high humid environments. And the wood handles, you may want to regularly either lacquer or put mineral spirits on and just maintain and keep an eye on. So there's a level of care and maintenance, kind of like an old car, super cool, but you just got to keep an eye on it and take care of it. Same thing, the leather, just making sure that it's not having issues. But it has a really cool style that none of these other blades really bring to the table. And it has a lot of really good performance. I think I paid with a coupon code, it was like 40 bucks. They usually go between like 40 and $45. So you get a lot with this BPS Bushmate 2.0. Now, what budget bushcraft knife list would be complete without at least one Mora? And there are a ton of them that come in under 50 bucks. I have the Cans Bowl, I have the 511, I have the old classic wood handled series. I got so many different models. And what I found is the more I use the Cans Bowl, the less I actually enjoy using it. It has some good features, but I just don't do it. And even once in a while, you can find a Garber right around 50 bucks, maybe 60. But if you were to ask me what's the one I use the most and I would recommend the most, it is the Mora Companion series right there. Booyah, Grandma. There it is. I mean, it's just so tried and true, and I gravitate to the blade shape, the design, the sheath clip, all the things. I connect with it the most. Now, there are 2 different variants with lots of options. I'm gonna try and unpack this really quick for you to help you better determine if you're like, man, I need to get a Mora. They're great gift knives, they're great starter knives, they're great ultralight backpacking and hiking knives. They're so capable. And they're going to be the best value of any of the knives on this list. The heavy duty comes in under 20 currently, and the original comes in under 15, depending on variants, which is wild. So, I mean, not gonna break the bank with one of these blades, and they're gonna really perform. Now, what it really comes down to is going to be how heavy you want it and how durable do you want the blade. The original Companion is thinner at 0.9, I believe, or 0.09, excuse me, less than 1/8 of an inch thick. So it's very thin, and the handle is a little narrower. So if you like kind of narrower handles and you like really thin blades, that is going to lead to excellent finesse and slicing and carving. If you need to do some pounding, side splitting, you like to baton with these blades, it's not going to be the ideal size. If you have really big, kind of meaty, bear claw hands, Well, then the other variant might make more sense, the heavy duty. The heavy duty is 1/8 of an inch thick, so it's a little bit thicker, and it's gonna have a bigger, fatter palm swell in there. Boom, giving you just a little bit more fullness and grip. What I've found is when I'm doing kind of heavier, more gross cutting tasks, I prefer the heavy duty. If I'm doing just like wood spirit carving and little stuff, I prefer the original companion. There's carbon steel, there's stainless steel. It really comes down to your preference on do you want rust resistance, do you not? And then you get the polymer sheaths, you know, that just clip. That's part of why I like this. Just the clip, you just boom, pop it on your belt or pocket and you're ready to rock and roll. Thumb ramp, that's what that cold steel should have had. Just something like that. Boom, perfect. And if you want to upgrade one of these, you can spend 20 bucks and get yourself one of those leather sheaths and kind of give it a little extra flair. So are there any downsides? Well, the sheath is not ambidextrous. That's one downside. I think some of the stainless actually have 90-degree spines, but the carbon steels do not. So you cannot throw sparks without and scrape without putting it to a grinder. Because it's a bushcraft knife, it would be great if they came from the factory like that. I don't think they're gonna do anything about that, but that is something to note as well. Other than that, guys, for high value, it's one of the, like, I won't say perfect, but near perfect designs that you cannot go wrong with. But they can kind of be dull and boring, and that's why there are some awesome other alternatives that I wanted to highlight with you. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. What was your favorite out of this list? If there's some under 50 bucks that I missed that you think are excellent bushcraft knives, please leave a comment below. I might make a part 2 at some point with a new list. But I really hope that this has been fun, entertaining. You know, share it with people maybe that you know are getting the outdoors and you know they're on a tight budget. This would be a great list, I think, for them. And yeah, leave comments, and I appreciate you guys hanging with me today. I hope that you have enjoyed. Until next time, I invite you to check out the other video, and always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.